Nation, thanks to our friends at Lucas Oil, they make this thing possible. That's why I suggest if you're interested in doing anything inside your car, inside your engine, outside your engine, make sure you check out lucasoil.com for a line of products to keep your rides fat and happy. Do it. Go to lucasoil.com. That's lucasoil.com. Members of the Freak Nation for over 2 decades. All right, Kyle Larson will be joining us. We caught up with Kyle Larson. He'll be joining us coming up next segment. Also, Kyle Larson, post-race press conference coming up this segment. And it leads into what I was talking about the last segment, a lot of the segment talk here. How with the Xfinity Series race that Kyle Larson, from what I'm told, had lapped the field 66 times. And was
very close.
Was it right?
Yeah.
That at the Xfinity Series race, Kyle Larson was going on to the win until that yellow that dropped, and then all of a sudden Justin Allgaier found something and won the Xfinity Series race. Mm-hmm. But at the time, Kyle Larson was on his way to winning the Xfinity Series race. That's after he won the truck race.
Yep.
And then some of us were talking about when was the last time someone swept the series, and it was, of course,
Kyle Busch, 2017. He is the only driver to have done it, and he's done it twice, 2010 and 2017.
And look what Kyle Larson did. He wins the truck race. He's on his way to win the Xfinity Series race. And then, of course, he wins the Cup race. And I posed this question to this group here. Again, Cole Cusimano. Hope you're doing all right, my friend. He's not here.
Sick.
I know he's sick.
He's just sick.
He'll be back here for Horsepower Hump Day. And, of course, next Sunday night. If he decides to not go to that fast food joint again. I asked this crew here, I said, think about this, because your gut reaction will go one way, then you'll think, is it harder to win? Is it harder to do what Christopher Bell did and win 3 straight Cup races, or do what Kyle Larson was on his way to doing, sweeping a weekend in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series? My gut, but I think yours was to win 3 Cup races in a row.
Yep.
I disagree.
My knee jerk went to that, but I disagree now too. But yeah, go ahead.
No, here's the thing. You just put out the stat. It's happened twice.
Yep, exactly.
In 30-ish years after the Truck Series was founded, right? That's it. Mm-hmm. Twice. Thousands of races over almost 30 years. And it's happened twice. Whereas Kyle Larson just won 3 races 3 years ago. And then Jimmy Johnson won 4 15 years ago. So it's hands down winning 3 races in the same weekend in 3 different types of cars. Easy.
But maybe the bigger question being, why did we want to knee-jerk reaction into, 3 in a row? Clearly, winning 3 Cup races in a row is harder. Is it because Kyle Larson made it look so almost easy this weekend? That's just the kind of driver that he is. I mean, he just dominated the truck race. He dominated the Xfinity race. It just didn't end up in his direction the last 8 laps. And then he had a pretty good run today, too, for the Cup race. So is it just he just makes things look easy, same as Kyle Busch, makes it look easy, so you automatically, your brain thinks, clearly that's got to be the easier one. No.
Let that resonate, Freak Nation. To you, which is easier or more difficult? Either way you want to phrase it. 3 Cup races in a row or sweeping the series, what Kyle Larson was on his way to doing until the Xfinity Series race and that caution. He was on his way to sweeping the weekend. I know it's before he won the Cup race. In fact, Richard C. Suave, this is Kyle Larson talking about losing that Xfinity Series race, correct?
Yes, let's begin with that. We got 3 Kyle Larson bites for you that we can chew on here from the post-race. Okay. Let's start with that. He was asked specifically about how the end of the Xfinity race, and he basically lapped the entire field. There were only 5 cars in the lead lap at one point at the end of that race before the final caution, which is absolutely insane. So he was asked, did that specifically motivate him more prior to Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series race?
Definitely extra motivated, and given past history, I just wanted to take the green flag and kick everybody's ass today. Honestly, I wanted to get to the lead early and just dominate like I was yesterday. But then the green flag flew and it was like the opposite. I was going backwards and getting pissed off in the helmet and just frustrated. But just figured that day was not going to go like that. So then you just forget about all that. I think just leading into the race, that's what your thought process is. But then, after 10 laps or so, I quickly forgot about the wanting to kick everybody's ass all race long. And it was just like, all right, let's try and work hard at this and get a win. And that's kind of how the race played out.
I just like Owen, his son.
Which
At
was,
the beginning of that clip, just chin on the table.
which caught your eye more, the profile of Dustin Long down at the bottom, or his son, Owen?
Owen got me on that one.
That's one of the reasons I like Kyle Larson. He just says it. And it's gotten him in trouble, as we know in the past, but he just says it. And he just said it there. It pissed me off. I drove my ass off in a cup car because of what happened in a lower-tiered series in the Xfinity Series race.
I don't want Kyle Larson to tell me I want to kick your ass.
Yeah, no.
That's a pissed off Kyle Larson is not the Kyle Larson I want to be facing on Sundays. That's not great. That's not great at all.
Kyle Larson, post-race after his Homestead win Sunday afternoon here in the Freak Nation. Richard, let's set up the second bit with Kyle Larson.
Again, the big story of the weekend was whether or not Kyle Larson was going to win all three races, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series. And so he was specifically asked whether or not he is bummed out, or how bummed out he is that he wasn't quite able to pull that off.
I mean, maybe as I go home tonight and lay down and think about the week more. But honestly, right now, I don't think about it at all. I wasn't thinking about that as I took the lead, anything like that. So, I was pretty, disappointed all of, the time after the race yesterday. But I woke up this morning feeling, for the most part, fine. Motivated, but fine. Kind of over, the finish.
Richie, stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it.
Best.
I don't hear a damn thing that Kyle Larson's saying. Seeing his son Owen. Look at him.
He's messing with his hat. And then, of course, because our eyeballs, for those of you listening on radio, clearly you're getting a great interview or a great answer from Kyle Larson, and you're not able to see, unfortunately, his son right next to him just fidgeting with his hat and wearing another team's shirt, by the way. He's wearing a Michael Jordan, Air Jordan polo. That's another team. That's not Hendrick Motorsports. Mr. H allows him to do that. Good on you, Owen. Good on you.
Solidarity. That's what it is. Solidarity from those drivers.
Kids are the
I'm
best.
sorry, Kyle Larson. I didn't hear a damn thing you said. Were you still pissed off? Richard, we got one more soundbite that we can hit, and maybe Owen will not freaking distract us.
Yes, we got one more. So we were just talking about how Homestead may not get the championship race back, as a lot of fans were asking even just 6 months ago. Well, Kyle was asked about some of the differences between driving Homestead in the fall like they did last year as opposed to driving it now in the spring. And here we go.
I don't really think that it affected it at all. I feel like this track is so abrasive that it didn't really seem much different. The only thing that seemed different to me was we had more cloud cover during the race. And there was runs early in the race when there wasn't as much cloud cover, and it played out like normal Homestead. And then I would say the last third of the race, there was quite a bit of cloud cover, so the pace was much faster, it seemed, in the car. More people were kind of making fast entries into one work than typical in the fall. So, but temperatures and all that were relatively the same. So I really just think the cloud cover that we had today was the biggest factor.
And now he's a weatherman.
What the hell did we just learn from that soundbite?
That nothing's different. The track's abrasive enough, and there's really nothing different between November and March.
Yeah, there you go, Freak Nation. So he's indifferent about whether they... Look, this guy wants to freaking roll at Homestead. Dude had a chance to sweep the G-Dam weekend.
He doesn't care. He won the championship at Phoenix as well.
Right.
I think Kyle Larson is good with either as the championship finale.
As long as it's not at a freaking super speedway. We don't need to get into that
Valid.
conversation.
Yeah,
right?
just don't make it Daytona. There you go.
Freak Nation, coming up next, we spend a good 10 minutes with Kyle Larson. We don't talk a lot of Homestead because we caught up with him before Homestead. But he does drop some bombs in here in relationship to Kyle Busch, high limit racing, starting off as a small business owner, meaning with High Limit Racing, him and Brad Sweet, and really what it feels like now to watch this little baby of theirs, High Limit Racing, succeed and kick some ass. We'll talk to him about that. Also coming up, John Hunter Nemechek will be in here, and Alexis DeJoria, the only female in funny car for the NHRA, who frankly is kicking some ass. A single car. Well, I don't want to give it away. Something that she talks about in the interview about the new developments with this new team she's running with. Yeah, it's a big next segment. Rest of the show.